on, everybody? How y'all doing today? I know y'all probably can't see my face because my wonderful Raiden hat I got right here, but it's all good. Y'all can hear me, y'all can see me enough, right? All right, so I want to do this video today on potatoes, right? I've been researching a little bit about potatoes because I want to make sure we got the most successful harvest that we can get, right? So what I've been doing is, right now I'm growing 2 containers of potatoes, and they're doing well. They are very green. They're putting up a lot of foliage, right? Foliage, however you say it, right? They're putting up a lot of green. But from what I understand, so I'm growing them in containers, and from the research that I've done, I'm seeing 2 common things happen with growing potatoes in containers. One is, try not to kill myself by tripping over this peat moss right now, but the first one is when you plant them the traditional way, which is like the 6 inches of soil, and then you put the potatoes at the bottom of the container, and then you mound or hill them all on the way up. For those of you who don't know what that means, mound or hilling means that in the bottom of a container, so for example, these containers right here, right? At the bottom, I put 6 inches of soil, and then in that 6 inches of soil, I planted, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 seed potatoes inside that little 6 inches. And then as the potato sends up the shoots, and you get all this green, you start dumping more and more soil on top of the green, not covering it completely, because if you cover it completely, it's not going to be able to get the light to be able to finish to keep the photosynthesis going to provide you with potatoes, right, for it to grow. But you're going to cover up. I hope you guys can hear me because this wind. I thought the wind was over. Nope, windy days are back. So you're going to mound it, or you're going to pile on the dirt on top of the green until it gets to a certain point. And once it gets to, like, you get to the top of the container that you're growing it in, you're going to stop mounding, obviously, because you've run out of space. But you're going to continue to water, and at some point all the green is going to turn yellow and start to die back. When that happens, it's no longer sending nutrients to the potatoes, so technically it's done, right? Because it's not feeding the potatoes beneath the soil anymore, right? So that's for those of you who may not have known what that means. So, like I said, the common things that I keep running across is they plant the potatoes at the bottom of the container. They let it go through the entire process of growth, and then when they go to get all the potatoes out of the potato box, they're getting back a small harvest, which to me is, they call it small, I call it a win, because I'm like, if you plant 1 seed potato and it gives you 9 other potatoes, that's a win, man. That's a win. Like, if I was to say, hey, listen, let me borrow $1 and I'm gonna give you back 9. I'm gonna give you back 10, but 9 extra, right? So I'm gonna give you back the $1 that you loaned me plus 9 more. Are you gonna say no? So the thing about it is, to me, when it comes down to gardening and your harvest, sometimes we have to stop looking at it like you're supposed to get this big bountiful harvest. That's what we all want, but that may not be what we get, right? So that's what I've been seeing. I've been seeing people get what they call a small harvest because they get maybe 8, 9, 10 potatoes of varying size, right? And then I've also read and I've heard that the potato plant would not send out shoots to grow other potatoes as it grows up the shoot, right? So as it grows up through the soil, it's not going to branch off into smaller potatoes and grow additional potatoes off that main shoot. I've heard that, right? But then I've also seen people plant potatoes and they'll dig a hole, maybe a couple of feet, maybe one or 2 feet deep. They'll plant their potatoes in that hole, then they'll just mound it up. As the potatoes grow, they don't keep mounding it. That's it. They just water and feed in that little hole, and over time, when it's time for them to harvest, they go pull it up, and they got a bunch of potatoes, right? So I'm like, okay, is a potato box even worth the time to do? I don't know. Is growing it in containers the most optimal way to grow potatoes? I don't know. So what I'm here to do today is I'm going to start an experiment. And that experiment is going to consist of me growing potatoes in a container, a potato box, in which both of those methods are going to be the same. So I already got the ones in the containers growing, right? I need to go ahead and mount these up. These things are taking off like crazy. I don't know what I'm doing right, but I did not know where potatoes grew. You know, the green was gonna grow that fast, but it's growing pretty fast, right? But that's my first experiment. I'm just doing it the traditional way, and I did this maybe a month or so ago, and they're doing fine. So over here in this third container, trash can, there's nothing. They started to grow, as you can see, with that little leaf right there, right? They started to grow, but then it died back. I don't know why, but it died off, right? But that was, out of the three, that was the only one that didn't make it. And then I have this newly constructed box or frame that I've built out of these pallets, excuse me. So this is what I'm gonna do. This is my idea. For the trash can that's not growing anything right now, I'm gonna dig through, make sure everything is out of there. Anything that's dead, that's not supposed to be in there, is out, right? I doubt if I find any potatoes, but I'm just gonna dig through just to make sure everything is out. I may put a little bit more soil in there, but my idea for that trash can is to take it and I'm gonna plant the seed potatoes right there about halfway up the trash can. And then I'm gonna cover them with the rest of the soil, right? So I'm not gonna start them at the bottom. I'm starting about halfway. And I wanna see how the potatoes grow. I wanna see what happens, right? I'm expecting to get the foliage to come out the top, but I wanna know what's gonna happen underneath that soil. So that's what I'm gonna do for right now. That's gonna be the next experiment, right? So I'm gonna do that. And then along with that, at the same time, I have this big cube that I made out of these pallets, right? And let me show you this. So I got this big square that I made out of these pallets. I just drilled some screws along the edges. I was gonna put a tarp all around, you know, on all the sides, all around. But I changed my mind because upon more research that I did, I found out that these things need air, right? Just like with everything, they need air, they need airflow and everything to go through. So I figured that these holes in the pallet is going to provide sufficient air to pass through the soil for the roots and everything for the development of the plant, for the development of the plant, right? So I'm not going to put the tarp down, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take the seed potatoes that I have and I'm going to plant them. I'm going to cover the bottom with the soil. I'm going to use majority peat moss, and I'm going to talk about why here in a second. But I'm going to cover the bottom of this square, and I'm going to mound the potatoes from here and to see if I can get a bigger harvest out of a bigger area versus using some smaller containers. I just want to see how things are going to grow. So, me and Keisha when did we started buying, So me and Keisha started buying for the garden in around January, right? We went to a Home Depot and we saw everything was full for the garden section. Everything was full. They had a little turnstile that had seed potatoes, onion sets, garlic sets, whole bunch of stuff, just all types of potatoes, strawberries. They even had the I forget what they call it, but the white strawberries. They had those, and they were but they were the ones that they were weird. You know, that's not what I expected. They were the ones that you have to soak in water, and then I forget what they call, but they were those. I bought them anyway, though. I was gonna give them a shot, but when I actually tried it, the execution didn't quite come out right. So I was like, yeah, chalk that one up as an L. I'm gonna try that again later. But so anyway, so we bought these potatoes maybe back in January, February, early February sometime, right? So I'm hoping that they're still good, but I'm gonna plant them anyway because they have a lot of good sprouts. Let me show you what the sprouts look like. So this is what they look like, right? So I'm like, man, that looks really good. Even right now, it looks really good. And it's funny because I'm planting an old potato, and I'm scared. I'm like, is it any good still? But it looks good. It doesn't look like anything's wrong with it. Doesn't look like it's decayed. And yeah, so I'm gonna just plant these in that square. I'm gonna throw a couple in the maybe 2, no more than 2 in the trash can, because potatoes technically, I guess, supposed to have about a square foot of space between the, you could put 1 per square foot of space, and that clearly is not, excuse me, that clearly is not 2 square feet, right? Maybe 1.5 at best. Okay, so but I'm gonna put 2 in there just to try to, get as the best harvest that I can, the best success that I can, and then I'm gonna just put everything else in the cube, and I'm gonna take it from there, right? And then I'm gonna keep you guys updated with how things are turning out with it, right? So let's go ahead and get started with this whole thing, and I'm gonna show you how everything looks in the end. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and empty out this trash can right here, and just to make sure that we don't have anything that's in there that may interfere with our experiment, right? So the pants are coming down. All right, so I have nothing down here except have nothing in here really, but looks like some good healthy soil in my opinion. So it looks like it's a go for the rest of the experiment. And you know what? This is actually pretty comforting, because the soil, look, check this out. The soil down there is still nice and moist, right? And that lets me know that, because when this one died off, it died off a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I haven't watered it since. I did water it in the beginning to try to see if I could try to revive it, but I haven't watered it since, and it's still wet down bottom. So that's a good sign to me, to let me know that when I'm watering my other containers, I can expect for at least the bottom portion of the soil to still be somewhat damp, and providing some kind of water to the roots, to the plants, and the trees and all that good stuff. So that's actually comforting to me. So, but everything else looks like it's good. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and fill this thing up with some peat moss. Not much more peat. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and put my seed potatoes in on this level of soil, and then we'll add some peat moss and other soil mix on top of that, and then we're gonna take it from there. And that's gonna be that's it. That's gonna be it for this container. All right, guys. So I went ahead and got this. This one is full. All right, see, check it. Yeah, that's a new style. Got to be able to push record with that thumb, right? But this is the seed potato that we just planted. So so the soil was already about halfway. I just put the seed potato in and threw another 6 inches of soil, roughly 6 inches of soil on top of that. So that's good to go. I only did 1 in this one because when I opened the bag, I only had 7. And out of those 7, these 3 do not look well. So I'm not gonna put that one in there. Look at how soft and mushy that one looks. Yeah, see that? So obviously I'm not gonna throw that one in there. This one doesn't look alive, right? You see, when you look at this one as compared to this one, and it's purple and it's got the green tips, and this one is just black, purplish, right? So I'm not going to throw that one, nor that one in there. So I'm going to just use these 3 remaining seed potatoes to go into the square. Now, so I got that filled up. I've also healed this a little bit, Not a whole lot, but I got this one healed up a little bit, and the same thing with this one. And now when I water it in tonight, because tonight is a feed day. Today is a feed day. When I water it all in, I'm gonna worry about, you know, if I have to come back and top it off because it washes away or whatever, then I'll do that then. But for right now, I'm gonna just leave it like this. All right, now we're gonna move on to the cube. And that's it. That's gonna be my experiment. So I'm gonna have my regular potatoes growing in the trash cans. Then I'm gonna have the one that's growing about halfway, because I want to see what's gonna happen up top and beneath the soil. And then I'm gonna grow the next phase is gonna be in the big cube or the big square, right? And like I said, I'm gonna use the bulk of what I'm gonna use is gonna be peat moss for the square. And the reason why is when I watch these videos, the moment they cracked open their potato boxes to get all to harvest their potatoes, they would crack open the boxes, and I was like, wow, like that soil looks really thick. It looks really thick, really almost hard. And then I find out through other people in the comments, through other research, that potatoes actually grow better in lighter soil, right? I've heard of people growing it in hay, straw, peat moss, obviously, because it's really light, but in different types of soil or different types of grow matter, for that matter, right? And they've had success. It doesn't have to be, I guess, a potting mix or a garden mix like what we typically use, right? It can actually be something lighter. So, and it makes sense to me, because I was like, you know what? That soil looks really heavy. The soil that they're using looks really heavy. Could the potato actually grow and expand like it should, or is it having a harder time? So the potatoes are actually using up more energy to try to get these things as big as they can, which is why they're coming out with smaller potatoes. I don't know. I have no idea, but that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for today. I'm going to try it out and just to see what happens, right? I figure at the end of the day, worst case scenario, something doesn't grow, right? Which I think is not likely to happen. I feel like I'm gonna have success in growing something. What size it's gonna get to, I don't know, but I just feel like it's a win-win, because it's gonna grow, and maybe it won't get to the size that I want, but it's gonna be something, right? And that's why I'm gonna just go ahead with this experiment. So I'm gonna go ahead. All right, everybody. So I'm sorry I had to delete a lot of videos and a lot of things well, I didn't delete them, I just saved them to a external, so I could keep recording this video, because I kept running out of space. So so basically at this point I'm done. Like we said, we got these 3 out of this experiment that we're doing. We have these 2 that are going to be growing regularly, planted at the bottom, shooting up sprouts from the bottom up to the top right here. This one is halfway down, because I just want to see what's going to happen beneath that soil and the bottom half of this can. And then over here, I was able to finally get the soil into the bed. Now, I'm only working on this half right now because I have all this other space. Oops, hold on. There we go. I got all this other space right here that I feel like I can get at least 2 more rows of 3, at minimum 3. So 6 more potatoes, seed potatoes right here. So I want to leave this like this so that I can go get my other seed potatoes, grow them on this half, and let them all grow at the same time. Now don't ask me what kind of potatoes I'm growing, because I don't know. Now the labels to the potatoes was around here somewhere. The wind and blew it off somewhere. Those over there in the containers, they are rusted. And I kind of wish now that I had done this prior to doing it that way, because those are bigger potatoes. They're supposed to be bigger potatoes, so they need more room, right? You would think a bigger potato needs more room to grow, all that good stuff. So, but we'll see. We're gonna see how this goes. But that's it for my potato, the beginning of the potato experiment. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe. Reach out to us, holler at us. We'll holler back. Trust me, we will. And then hit that notification bell so that you know the next time we put out a video. We're kind of slow with putting them out right now because we got a lot on our plate and we're trying to get used to this filming thing. But it's like we're out here every day anyway, might as well do it and get it, you know, film it and kill 2 birds with 32 stones, right? So yeah, but that's it for today. Thank you guys for checking us out. Until next time, peace out.